You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430 podcast. This is episode 240, and we have Drew Smith from Canards Waterfowl with us, and we're going to get into talking with Drew about Canards Waterfowl and get him to update us on everything that's happening with that. But we thought this would be a fun show to just sit back, relax. And if you've listened to our shows in the past with Drew, they're always fun. It's always a good laugh. Always. And Craig and I, we absolutely love hanging out with Drew on this show. So,
It's a good time.
this show is going to be all over the place. I'm warning you right now. And if you're looking for anything that's going to change the world, it's probably not going to happen on this show tonight. I can promise you. So
Small steps.
Small steps, yeah. So before we get going, I would like to thank our sponsors of Real Geese, Ducklander Calls, and First Light Hunting. Without your support, the show wouldn't be possible, and you guys have been going for 240 episodes, so we can't thank you enough. And of course, the voice of the Union 0430 podcast, Captain Jeff Coates from Pit Boss Waterfowl out of Maryland, US of A. Drew, buddy.
What's happening, guys?
You and I have been talking for the past 45 minutes, so I've
yeah, that's so true.
All the pleasantries out of the way. It's now Craig, you and Drew, go for it.
Yeah,
I was hoping that Damien had forgotten about this one too. Like we were talking about before we got on here. I had just gotten in the truck, was going out to check out a couple of fields. I got 100 meters up the road and was like, shit. We're supposed to have a call tonight. And I hadn't seen anything from Damien on the group chat. So I'm like, yes, he forgot too. Damien had said he had a buddy's retirement party today. I'm like, perfect. Maybe he's not even available. And he totally forgot, but nope. And then I'm trying to get everything set up. Shit's falling apart. I broke my light.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Panic mode now, right?
Yeah.
Just absolute shenanigans.
You're trying to plug your mic in and you can't get the jack in. Yeah, I get it.
The light was stuck on something, so I'm pulling on it. I think I separated the cord, and so now it's garbage.
That sounds about right, man.
Yeah.
That makes perfect. That's preseason, dude. You just open your trailer, and you're just like, oh, really?
But you know what, Craig? Like you're talking about this happening, right? And it's sort of fucking things up and shit. But you've been pounding on doors for a bunch of days now looking for permission, and out of the blue, you got permission on a fucking jammy field. So talk us through, because
So it was funny because it started up a couple of days ago. Like, I've been scouting my regular areas. I've been trying to find, there was a field I found close to home. And I was talking to the farmer that I thought owned that. He's like, yeah, I already got guys hunting or whatever. I'm like, and before I hung up, I'm like, well, first of all, let's make sure we're like, that it's even your field I'm talking about. And turned out he's like, no, that's actually this other guy's field. I'm like, perfect. I know that guy, but I know he also has hunters. So I called him, or I messaged him on Facebook. And he's like, yeah, I've got 3 groups of guys. So, he doesn't want to police it anymore. So I'm like, that's cool. That's fine. I get that. But then Brian Rushton texts me the other day. He's like, you're fielding this. So it's this little like 4-corner kind of town called Vasey. It's just like a couple of houses. He's like, your field in Vasey is loaded with geese. I'm like, well, last time I only have one field over there. And the last time I saw it, it was still like it's soybeans and they were still green and tall. So I was like, I don't think we're talking about the same field. He's like, no, I guess not. And he's like, yeah, it's this field over here. I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. He's like, oh, it's loaded with geese. And the field he's talking about, I've never seen birds in there. I drive by it all the time. Never has birds. So today I'm scouting around, going up to this other section that I always cover off, and it's the area that I got permissions to last year. That I was running into those 2 brothers, and we'd always kind of text back and forth. Right. Scout. So I've been over there, and that's where I was today. And like, again, no luck. Finally found like there's some corn coming off even. So I went and knocked on that door, and it was a door door I knocked on last year, and couldn't get it last year. And this time I got the wife. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just different, different answer. And right away she's like, no. She's like, too small of a property. There's houses close by. I'm like, that's cool. So I talked to her for a bit, and like I was driving around for about 2 hours this morning, just trying to cover as much ground before the birds started to head back. And finally, I'm like, you know what? This other place is kind of on the way home. So I went by this field that Rushton had messaged me about the other day. Yeah. And, I pull up out front, I'm humming and hawing, like, do you go try? Because there's like a little, it's a series of farm fields, the old farmhouse, and then there's like a little severed house off to the side. So then I'm like, well, which house do I knock on? Or do I go to the farm across the road? Because I know the guy across there. Do I start off talking to him and find out who owns it? And so I pull into the old farm laneway, and I just happen to see that there's a truck kind of tucked in behind the other house, like out just kind of the edge of the field. So I pull back there, and I get out of the truck. I can hear some equipment running or whatever. I go around the corner, and there's like an older couple there, and they're just splitting firewood, like right on the edge of this field. I'm like, sweet, there's geese in behind them. So I go, I'm trying, I'm walking up. I'm like, hello, just every couple of steps, trying to not scare the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I'm walking up behind them, and they've got a log splitter going, so they can't hear anything. So finally, she just still didn't hear me. She turns around and sees me, scare the shit out of her. So,
yes, check the box. Go.
Yeah. So I walk up, and she's tapping him to turn the machine off, and I'm thinking, oh, it's not a great start. And they look up, and both big smiles, friendly as shit. And so I was like, I noticed, I've been noticing this field. I saw some birds in it. Just wondering if you allow any hunting. Or I said, I was wondering if you would allow any hunting.
Yeah.
And the old boy looks at me. He's like, well, maybe if I can tell you a story. I'm like, okay.
What?
But he's got a grin on his face.
Yeah.
Mother. And all he really, and didn't really turn out to be a story. He's just like, I just want to say this house right here, this little property. I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's not ours. That guy doesn't own this property, and he's no friend of mine. I'm like, okay. He's like, but yeah, he's like, yeah. We rub each other the wrong way. He's like, but if you want to hunt here, you go ahead. I'm like, awesome. So then he starts to tell me, he's like, oh, this other guy trespasses, and I've called the game wardens on him before, and he's like, yeah, there's one other guy that I gave permission to for turkey season. He's like, but go ahead. But then he's like, but I don't know if you'll see any geese here. I'm like, well,
they're
right behind you.
They're over there, man. Like, turn around, brother.
And chatted with him for a while and walked. It turns out he lives about an hour and a half outside the area. And the woman, so they're a couple, but she lives like south of Barrie. He lives up near Huntsville area. So I just happened to catch them. They were down splitting firewood, and they're still cleaning up from that ice storm we had back in what was that, April? Yeah. And so it just happened to catch them on the farm splitting firewood today. Otherwise, I'd have no way of reaching them. And then
and a great shout out to Brian Rushton for even calling you and giving you the heads up, right?
Well, so I messaged him. I'm like, so I have that field now. Yeah. So it's like, hopefully those birds will stay there and I can get a couple hunts out of it. And because it's like I definitely want to get Caleb out there if those birds stick around. And then if I get more than one hunt out of it, it'd be nice to get Brian and maybe a couple other guys out there, especially if it continues to hold birds. Yeah, if it's just Caleb and I out there, right? It's almost it'd be good to get Caleb into a good hunt. But if there's a pile of birds,
you don't want to. You'd like to get as many people out there to get as many birds as possible.
Yeah, if you're going to burn that field, you might as well get some birds out of it first. But
is Caleb your son, correct?
Yeah. So he'll be 13 in October. So he just got his licenses last fall. Yeah. So he's been on one hunt, took one shot at one duck last season, and I when I watched the shot cam footage, he did knock a feather or two off, but he never got the bird. So he hasn't gotten his first bird yet. So a nice dry wheat field for some geese would be ideal.
Dude, that's that is how you start a young hunter right on an awesome hunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you make that first hunt like you're talking about dynamite, brother, just sink the hook already. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's he will never forget that.
Well, especially drive him right up to the field, set everything up, lay him, put him right in the blind, and then go park the truck.
Don't have to work like a dog. But then, but I agree. what Drew was saying, like what a way to introduce a guy as somebody new to it. But then are we not setting them up for failure down the road?
Oh,
When
all right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, that's fair. I don't know,
all you,
man. I think. Well, did you have a dynamite hunt? Did either of you have a dynamite hunt when you were young and you were just like,
no,
oh, this is it? Like,
no, no, not
no,
no. We
no.
worked like I crawled on my belly for an hour to get a shot at one duck, and maybe and all I had was a single shot cooey. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
I just love doing it. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
until I was in my 20s before I start getting flocks working for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. For me, it wasn't about ducks, it was about doves. My dad took me to a spot in Arizona, and in the desert, obviously water is king, right?
Right.
So he took me to this spot, and there was all these doves because they were coming to the water, and it was just a bloodbath. Even for me, to your point, break action 410. There was
Yeah.
a power line nearby, and it was just like, kid in a candy store. And that to me, I was like even as a
Oh,
little guy, I was like, oh shit, like this is, dude, this is it. Like it's all, and now granted, life came later and
of course.
assured me that it is not that, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but yeah, that would be sick to get your hunt. Because I also think there's something to be said, and like all your listeners, I'm sure, have seen one or two geese, but like when a Canada goose comes in, it's like a C-130, like we were talking about earlier, Damien. It's like feet down. Like I love, look, I love mallards, orange feet down, coming through trees. You guys know that, and your listeners know that if they've heard me before. But like a Canada goose, those big black feet down, wings straight out, like that's special. That's a
Mhm.
cool thing to witness, no matter who you are. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? New,
It-
old, like it
no,
doesn't
you're
matter.
absolutely right. So yeah, so now, so so you're not hunting. Obviously, Caleb's got school during the day. You're working during the day. So now you got to keep an eye on this field now for the next week, really.
Well, so because I was hoping to maybe get out there because it's the next township over, but that township just got Sunday gun hunting, I think, last year.
Okay.
So we could do it tomorrow, and that's why I was
Okay.
going to scout it. But I did get an invite a couple days ago to go hunt down the Alliston area, like south of Barrie, tomorrow. But that guy messaged me. It turns out he ended up getting a call from a farmer up my way, only about a half hour from here,
Yeah.
that he's got a field possibly there tomorrow. So
Oh.
I was just the other side of Midland. So I'm like, well, I'm in getting groceries. So I'll go have a look at it.
Yeah.
Get there. And we took a while to figure out what field it was because something wasn't making sense. But then it turned out they completely turned that field over today. So it's
Oh.
like, so he's
Oh.
like, he still wants to go. I'm like, I don't know, because there's another wheat field just down the road that hasn't been touched. So
Yeah.
it sounds like we're still going to just go and give it a try tomorrow, especially like if it's only half hour away.
Yeah.
Half hour away for me isn't too
Dude,
big of a
that's
deal.
money.
Yeah.
So we'll try that. But come
You're
Monday,
taking
like
Caleb with, are you taking Caleb with you
I'm
tomorrow?
not going to take Caleb out to that one
Okay.
tomorrow, but
Okay.
I'm going to be working from home Monday, and I don't give a shit
Ah.
about pulling Caleb from school. But the only thing I can't remember, because I think Carrie's gone for a couple of days for a conference or something, and if
Okay.
she's gone Monday, I think she has to leave
Yeah.
tomorrow. So if she's gone,
Right.
Caleb and I can't go out Monday morning.
Right. Because you
So
got Cam. You
yeah,
got
so
get Cam.
so
Yeah.
if that's the case, if I can't get Caleb out, I may just say the hell with it. I'll get him on a different one and see if I can get a couple
Right.
guys together to shoot that
Yeah.
field before those birds are gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll
Dang.
see what happens.
Dude, I'm
Hey,
jealous, man.
yeah, you got options. Well, and I'm like you, Drew. Like I'm watching all these people that are hunting, and I'm like, man, like I haven't even scouted a field. I haven't even like I literally haven't even thought about going out hunting
Yeah.
because, well, for one, I'm leaving next week too, right? So I really don't want to take any more time away from the family that I have to. But I'm watching and I'm hearing Craig's got a field locked up and stuff, and I'm just like, man, I really wish I was going on, or I had something lined up, and I'm just like, I don't have the time for it right now. So,
Well, okay, so I hear you, Damien, but we're back, baby. We're
Yeah,
back.
I
Oh,
know.
it's here. It's here. Hearing Craig's getting me all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Like hearing him like talk about options and whether it's tilled up, it's not tilled up. I'm like, oh my God, dude. We're back.
Brian got a message from Brian Hallbly. He's in Nebraska right now.
Yeah.
And he got a 4-man limit of mallards this morning. And
Teal.
I'm just like, oh, teal, was it?
Yeah,
Teal.
yeah, he went out there for the early teal.
Oh, right. So he got, so teal. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Mhm.
We don't have a dedicated teal season in Canada.
Really?
No, it like when our season starts, everything's on the go. Like we don't have that early teal, right? So so now, like since I've started Punisher Waterfowl and meeting people and stuff, now I've learned about Texas teal, Louisiana teal, and all these teal seasons that happen in the beginning, and then there's the split and all this. So now I know all of this other stuff that's happening. I live vicariously through everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just, man. And now with teal, now I just think about, oh man, how awesome would it be to have those rockets screaming past you right now? And you just, where did that come from? Where did they, like, that is the most awesome. And when you hear them, when they scream past you, and you're the fuck did those guys come from?
And you're just out there in a t-shirt.
Yes.
Shirt, you know, it's not cold. It's yeah.
Oh, dude, you get eaten alive in Louisiana. Texas teal, Louisiana teal. It is a coveted thing, right? Like a lot of guys don't pay attention, at least a lot of guys that I know of in Louisiana, in our community, like don't pay attention, but we all know where the boreal, I think that's how you say it, right? Boreal forest is. We all pay attention to that because that's where all the green wings come from. They come to, you know what I mean? Like we pay very close attention to that. But like, dude, Texas teal, legendary. Louisiana teal, incredible. Like it is truly, and just like you said, right? Like jet fighters, just that sound. Like it's funny that you brought that up because like that to me is nostalgia. Like, holy moly, dude! Like the wings of a teal, we were just like, what the? Did that just happen? Did anybody see that? You know what I mean? Like, and we're like, no. You know, you're at the end of the blind. You're like, what were you guys doing? And they're looking at you going, what were you doing? And it's just like, everybody's like this, you know what I mean?
Can you imagine taking somebody out with you on a hunt who've never ever hunted, know nothing about
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't.
Like have a flock of teal buzz the blind and just to look and see their face when they realize, like, was that a jet that just screamed past them?
Yes, dude.
Their face. And that's the stuff I live like. I love shooting, I love hunting, I love working my dog, but being with other people and seeing their reaction when something cool happens, oh buddy, I absolutely love it when somebody just, what was that? That was teal, buddy. That was about 20 teal that just come burning past us.
When they realize that they're expected to try and shoot those.
Well,
I know.
The other thing is that, you know, you talk to a person that's never ever experienced it. I think they think we exaggerate when we say it sounds like a rocket ship screaming past you, because they're
it does, man. Like dude, it's wild because like what a distinct sound. Because I guarantee I could play that behind you with a phone or something, and you'd be like, "That's teal." Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's teal. You know what I mean? Like it's and they're just they're easy to call and they're just so fun. They love mojos in the South.
Teal decoy so nice.
Oh my God! Just they land in the mess, and you're just like,
decoy so nice. I tell you what, a buddy of mine and I were out one time, and not like, this isn't Texas teal or nothing, so like not huge numbers, but we get buzzed by a single green wing, right? Yeah. And we're in a canoe, and we're sitting in these cattails, right? And this thing buzzes us and does the loop and goes and lands behind us, and we could hear it when it went down in the water, right? And I was like Like, how are we going to get that thing over here now, right? And
Yeah.
he was like, you get your gun ready and be pointing out at the decoys. And I was like, what are you going to do? He was like, watch. And he literally stood up in the canoe and yelled. And this eel straight up whoop, right into the decoys. And I was like, bang. And he was like, that's awesome. Like, he was like, there was no way. He
You
was
will
like,
never replicate that again.
never
Yeah.
replicated ever again. That was my buddy Cal Schrader. That was awesome. Boys, we got a lot of funny stuff and cool stuff to talk about. But Drew, I want to talk about like what's happening. It's been a while since you've been on the show. So what's
Yeah.
happening with Canards, buddy? Like what's going on? What's new? Because you are working a full-time job. So it's not like this is 9 to 5 for you, Canards, right? So what's happening, buddy?
Let's see. I appreciate you asking first off. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I've been talking to Primaloft, the insulation company, recently about their stuff, and then trying to get a contract for some Gore-Tex as well. That's the biggest. Yeah. Working on some hats and some new shirts in the background. Right. And so that's always going to be a thing. That's going to be kind of a revolving door, but Primaloft makes incredible insulation, right? We all know goose down versus synthetic. We play that game, right? Working with those guys to do some stuff. I sent them some samples. They sent me some samples. So we're trying to figure it out as to like what I actually need to purchase to make the first 2 jackets. Because for the listeners that didn't hear your previous podcast, we're working on a light jacket and a heavy jacket, right? Like 2 wader jackets, one for like an early season and then one for a later, both waterproof. That's why we're bringing up the Gore-Tex, and then Primaloft is to add the insulation as well. Because
how do you go for it? Sorry,
no, lay it on me, buddy.
So like, how do you? And this isn't me being ignorant or nothing like that. Like, how do you now? You're still in the military. And I'm not taking anything away from your intelligence or nothing like that. But this totally different world for you now, right? Now you're talking to companies like Primaloft and Gore-Tex and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, like, when you hang up the phone now on even if it's a negative response you get or a positive response?
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting point. There's a lot of those. So
how do you sit back sometime and go, I was just talking to a dude at an insulation company about insulation for a jacket that I'm trying to design. Like, do you ever sit back and just reflect on, you know what I did like when your wife comes home, right? And she was like, what'd you do today? Well, I was talking to some production guy with Gore-Tex. And I know if I said that to my wife would be like, you did what? Like, who were you talking to? Like, do you have those moments?
Oh, for sure. When I tell friends or my wife about it, they're just like, it's like a long pause. And they're like, what is that exactly?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, yeah, I'm glad you asked. So I think, man, it's funny that you bring it up because after some of the calls, I'm like, what the hell did I just do? I hope that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I really hope that was exactly what I needed, because if I get this thing and it's this expensive, because it is, right? Like all these materials cost a lot of money, like waterproof, windproof, super warm nonsense always costs money, right? And I'm like, damn, I really hope that was exactly what I needed. And then I'll get it and I'll be like, all right, I'm a dumbass. This is way too light, or this is not breathable, right? Because that's a lot of things I think a lot of people don't understand is as I'm like designing this jacket, you know what I mean? Like, I want something breathable, but I want something to retain heat, which like are counterproductive to one another. You know what I mean? So, it's because we've all had that moment, right? Like Craig was talking about it earlier. That field that he's going to walk out there. He's going to hump gear. He's going to carry all this equipment. He's going to be piping hot, right? And then you're going to be like, dude, this is too much. Why am I wearing this? And you're going to take it off. Well, what if you could vent it in a way that actually because here's fun fact. I've been researching all these like human. This is where I get way out of my depth, to your point, dude, where I'm just like, I'm studying the way your body makes heat, because your core holds all the heat, right? This is where your body's always going to keep your heat, right? Because it's a survival mechanism. Well, okay, so where am I making across your chest is the greatest place. I can't put a pocket straight across your chest, dude.
Right.
You're gonna laugh in my face. You're gonna be like, what am I gonna put in here? I got two zippers, one across left to right and one up and down. It's crazy sauce. But you're gonna look at me and you're gonna be like, dude, this is terrible. What were you thinking? Right. So like, where do I go? Where do I put the vents? And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like, okay, well, what makes sense? Right?
Right.
Because I think we can all agree that in the jacket, the high pockets are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty sweet. But what if I told you that you could vent out of the same pocket that your hand's getting warm in? You know
That's
what I mean? So like if I put my hands forward, now I'm venting all this heat that I just made,
yeah.
right? Through my own body heat by carrying all these decoys. That sort of stuff is kind of where I'm at. And I got to be honest with you, like as I sew these, because I'm sewing some of it together,
Right.
right? I'm like, it's me. It's like this weird, I basically, the hobo with all the patches on his jacket.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where we're at, where I'm like, oh man, Primaloft is on my left arm. It's way warmer than this material on my right arm. I'm freezing to death right now. That's kind of how my whole winter went on a deployment. Yeah, I took 3 jackets with me
Yeah.
that I had worked on.
Yeah.
They look like Frankenstein's jackets because
Mhm.
one sleeve is one material, one sleeve is another. And I'm just out in the cold, like, which one gets cold faster? Like this is, and people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to figure out which one's warm and which one's cold. So it's been in a journey, dude. And I'm out of my depth, arguably 75% of the time, to
Yeah,
answer your question.
but I don't think you were, because like, just to listen to you, and Craig, you pipe in on this too, but to listen to you. So first off, we have to preface this with you've had an outstanding career in the military, and I don't care what's on the market. A military guy, especially somebody that's in a light role where
Mhm.
you're humping all day long, you understand layering. Like,
Yes. Yeah, that's my thing.
we were layering long before the hunting world was layering. So
Yes.
you have the real life experience from humping in a desert when it's 100 degrees during the day, and then it drops down to 70 at night. So you have that real world experience, but yet you're also doing your trials and your evaluations. You're not making it overly complicated. You're sewing Primaloft on one arm and brand X on the other, and going out
Yeah.
in the cold and going, which one gets colder quicker? Like, that is the things that, those are the actions that when you look at someone and they become extremely successful, and we've all done it, where we look at someone that's a fucking billionaire, and you go, man, must be nice to be a billionaire to own that boat. But nobody knows all of the bullshit that the billionaire had to do in order to become the billionaire. Like, nobody knows that he had to have one sleeve with Primaloft and one
Yeah.
I
Bet he,
see.
bet he almost lost the one arm from frostbite.
right. Like, nobody sees
Yeah.
stuff, right? All they see is the end product. So I don't think you're out of your element. I think you're just approaching it in a way that if you were to tell most clothing manufacturers, they'd be like, oh, that's a weird way to go about it. But to me, it's a very, wow, it's the easiest way to do it. It's the easiest, most cost effective way to do it. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I figure that duck hunters are pretty mouthy in general. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna tell me if you don't like something. You're not like most duck hunters are like this jacket's shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I look forward to that moment because like I think we talked about this before, but like any feedback to me is positive because I'm like, okay, cool, that didn't work for you. Because like, how do you make a garment for everybody that does all the same things? Well, the real things that I've realized that I can control is how does it uh, expel heat and how does it hold heat? Right? The fit is going to be based on your body type, which I can't control. That's the reality of my situation, right? Like I can't control your body type. But what I can do is I can make you warm to stay out there a little bit longer because you know what I mean? Because like in your instance, Craig, like what if I could keep you guys, you and Caleb out there for 30 minutes longer and he gets the money shot? You know what I mean? Like it's just it's a single, it's coming in, he creams it, dude. All because you're warm enough to stay.
Yeah.
That's what's going on in
Yeah.
my head.
Ah,
So
that's a
that
great
that's
way to look at it. I think so.
yeah. I think a lot of people focus on the idea of the drop and the next thing. I want to just increase your experience. That's all I'm concerned with.
Mhm.
So, and like you said, the layering will lead up to that to make you stay out longer.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, I don't think you're out of your element. I just think you're approaching it in a way that most people within the clothing textile world, they're just like, well, we would just put it in a freezer with thermometers and there'd be all kinds of gadgets hooked up to it and we'd get down to the decimal of the degrees and stuff, where you're like, well, I'm the best judge. I'll go out. If I freeze,
yeah.
then I know it's shit. If I stay
that you're-
warm, it's good.
You're able to incorporate it into what you're already out there doing, anyways.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah,
slap something
exactly.
together and you take it
Now,
out on your
with all
daily.
this- with all this being said, I do want to see this Frankenstein jacket because I think
All right, I'll dig it out.
Especially when you're like pictures of you out and about and just you see people in the background looking over at you, right? Just kind of.
Oh, that's exactly what happened, Craig. People would leave our tent, and then like in the middle of a winter in Europe, they would leave our tent and they'd just look over and be like, "What are you doing?" And it'd just be like, "Nothing, nothing at all, man."
you're busy.
You know, like, don't worry about it. This doesn't concern you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I really, because I think it's a lot to ask because I think duck hunters require waterproof, windproof, warmth, right? Flexibility, because there is a lot of movement. You hucking a decoy, you picking up decoys, you carrying something, you moving over, you calling. Like there's a lot of movement that we don't think
Right.
about.
Even just the
Yeah.
shouldering of your gun too. Like I've had
Yeah,
plenty of clothes where
right?
it's
Like
to shouldering a gun in a jacket, or even not even necessarily jackets at times, but like sweaters when they don't
yeah.
fit right. And it's just such a hindrance.
Oh, 100%. Well, you think about I don't know if you guys have ever owned maybe a non-hunting jacket, but it bunches, like it becomes a wad across like areas that move, and you're like, this is not feel good. You know what I mean? Like there's no so, and then here's the thing too, you have to make a garment big enough so that other layers can go underneath it too, because that's like a whole nother genre
Yeah.
of like stuff, right? It's like, okay, is it static? Am I shocking everything that I'm touching? Like that sort of stuff fascinates me. And I think to your point, I think it's gonna be really funny to tell those stories when I start doing the circuit of like all Delta waterfowl, ducks, all those things, where they're like, how did you test it? Well, it's funny you should ask.
You have it
You
on
know
a
what I mean?
mannequin
Like,
behind you.
oh, yeah, just have the Frankenstein in the background and be like, that's where I started. And then this nice thing that you're about to wear is where we ended up.
Yeah. But I think,
So,
like, honestly, I think that's what makes the story of the brand that much better is when you can say, hey, listen, in Europe, deployed, this is what I was doing. I had this idea. I'm still working a full-time job. I'm still, I'm deployed. I'm in another country the whole bit, and I'm peak. Like I keep going back to this, and I do it all the time on this show when I talk to people that have started their own brands and their own business and stuff like that. Like I'm nothing special. Like I'm no better than anybody else. The only reason why this show is because I won't give up on it. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not special. I'm not fucking good at this. I'm not a video editor. I'm from Newfoundland. I don't even speak good English. But I
think you
just
speak pretty good English, but yeah, I hear you.
I just don't give up. You know what I mean? Like I keep going. I just want to keep going. I don't want to quit. And this is what it is. So there's a ton of people that have great ideas and their idea would be successful, but they quit because they expect it to explode within the first year. It's not gonna explode. Well, unless you're extremely lucky, some people it works for, but like you just got to keep working at it.
Oh, 100%, dude. Well, I also think, first off, first point to make, and I think, Craig, we were texting about this a while ago on Instagram. Like, I think what really makes you guys unique, and it's super cool, by the way. I don't want that to get lost in the sauce. 240 episodes, guys, you're onto something. Like,
Well,
You have followings in
When we
two
show
different
up.
countries.
we have nothing to do. 240 episodes, we just get together and shoot the shit, right?
Well, still though, and I would argue, and it's funny that you say that because I had to explain to my buddy who's not a duck hunter what I was doing tonight, and by talking to you guys, and I had to describe your show in one word because my buddy's he's on the spectrum, I think, at times because he needs you to he can't take so many details. He has to you got to give him one word answers,
Okay.
and he's like, describe the show in one word, and I was like, authentic. I think that's no shit what makes you guys unique is that it is it is guys figuring it out, talking about it, trash talking the shit out of each other at times. You know
100%.
what I mean? Very real world, relatable platform, authentic banter that makes your show incredibly unique. Because if
Well,
you think about it, how much bullshit must I do to listen to other podcasts?
yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
dude, I've got to go through 10 minutes of commercials.
Oh, buddy.
I'm like, dude, I just want to listen to the guys talk shit. That's all I want. I want them to maybe they learn something new, right? That's what I want to hear.
We
It's
were in
funny that you
Baton
throw out the
Rouge.
word bullshit because as you were talking, and I'm sure you guys could see the grin spreading on my face because when you said describe it in one word, first thing that came to my mind was bullshit.
But I agree with you, Drew. I was in Baton Rouge last year, and a gentleman who owns a very successful brand, and we were sitting down to dinner, and he was like, "So, how do I become a sponsor?" I said, "Well, the easy answer is that either Real Geese Ducklander Calls Her First Light stops becoming a sponsor." And he sort of looked at me. He was like, "Why?" I said, "Because I do 3 sponsors, no more, because I do not want to have a 5-minute introduction of
Dude, it's too much. It's too much.
gas station." And listen, I'm not throwing shade on the podcast that does it. It's just not me. I don't like it. I don't like listening to all that stuff. I want to listen to the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Craig's story, what if we interrupted Craig's story about Caleb getting his first hunt because we had to do a commercial?
Yeah.
That, dude, that sucks.
Yeah, that's right.
That really sucks, man, because Craig's telling me about his son and his first hunt or his first big hunt. And I'm like, dude, why would I interrupt that? I lose all momentum in the conversation. It's terrible.
For some Viagra or Cialis.
That is not where I thought you were going to go with that, but I like it. I'm glad we're on the same page.
But it's funny because you're talking and you're saying, it's just bullshit and they're talking about, buddy, I'm going to start off our next topic with the ultimate, people are just going to go, what the fuck is this show about? And I'm going to start it with this. Craig, please explain to everybody and me how your new dog got stoned and you guys thought your dog was sick and had to rush him to the vet. Because
as you were building up, I'm like, I don't know what he's about to ask me right now.
Yeah, I had no idea. What?
I was in Hawaii, so I'm intermediate on messages and stuff like this, and I get this, and I'm there's a million things going on, and I'm looking at it, and I'm snickering, and I'm like, Craig's dog got into some weed, and I'm like, this is awesome, and I'm doing other things, so let's go, Craig, because Maverick, I gotta hear how Maverick got into the weed and ended up with a bag of Doritos.
So we were down at my dad's place for the weekend visiting. We were spending a couple nights with my dad's, and then so my dad and my wife's family, they all live down kind of the Niagara region. So we were going to my dad's place for a couple of nights, and then bumping over to her parents' trailer in Niagara Falls because then we were actually going to a friend's engagement party. So the first day at my dad's place, I look over, and of course, the puppy's we're sitting on the patio, and he's just picking up all kinds of shit, right? Just nonstop garbage. And at one point I found a roach in his mouth. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Because it's my brother visits my dad all the time, and he's always got something on the go. So I find this roach, I get it out of his mouth, and I set it on a table. Didn't think anything of it. He doesn't get up on tables and stuff like that. So I didn't think anything about it. So everything's fine the first day. Well, the next day we're getting ready to leave. So we're just sitting on the patio all morning, having coffee and that. And I'm running around the yard with Maverick. He's off leash now. My dad's got a good sized yard and fenced in. So like I'm throwing some frisbees. I'm throwing the bumper to him, and he's doing awesome. Like in my family, like my dad and my brother are impressed with just how well he listens, like just the basic sit and all that. And so I'm just sitting on the chair and like throwing stuff to him, and he's just a monster. Like I've never seen him like usually I'll get a couple of retrieves out of him, and then I'll throw it one more time. Like he's all gung ho. I throw it, and he's like, "No, I'm done." But this time he just wouldn't stop, and he's ripping around. He's got the zoomies and everything. Like I don't know what's got into him. This is great, but he's still listening well. And then so we were getting ready to leave. So I went into the house, had a shower. As I'm coming out and getting ready, my wife's like, something seems to be wrong with Maverick. I'm like, oh, he was fine like 20 minutes ago. So she's like, yeah, it's like he won't come at all. So like I come outside in the patio, and he's just sitting there, like just laying there looking at me across the patio. So I'm calling him, and he wouldn't move, wouldn't get up. So finally, like, I can't remember if I got him up or my wife got him up, but like, he just kind of stood there, but like his back legs were kind of like this. His 2 feet were just kind of touching, and he was just, so he couldn't stand up because he was just doing this on his back legs. So
pendulum.
So I'm like, what the hell? And he's just kind of trembling and stuff, right? And so like, first thing I thought is like, okay, he probably got a joint or something, right? Mm. And I realized, so I went over and looked, and like the roach I'd put on the table wasn't there anymore. So I'm thinking, shit, it must have fallen down. And in hindsight, I realized at one point I have like a rubber Kong brand frisbee for him, and I like banged it on the corner of the table one time to get his attention. And I think when I did that, I probably knocked it off. Mm-hmm. And so it's probably when he got it. But yeah, so like we're looking at him for a while, and first thing Carrie's looking up, and I'm like, I think that's probably what's happening here. It's probably what's going on. But like he's really like, he can't walk, he can't get up, he can't do anything. So we're like, all right, well, we'll head into town, and on the way we'll find. And that's when I started messaging Phil and Damien and asking a bunch of other people too. And I messaged one friend on Facebook who I know when they got a lab years ago, and their lab would find a joint anytime they took him out of the house. So they were always posting about it on Facebook. So I started messaging her and asking her. And so she's like, yeah, that's what it sounds like. But on the way to Welland, Carrie had looked up and called up the animal hospital, and they told us about this other emergency clinic. They're like, yeah, just call them up. So we call them, and Carrie's driving. I'm talking to them on the phone. They're like, yeah, come in. And they're like, it sounds like that's what's going on, but they'll triage them. And they're like, we'll triage them. And if you need to see the doctor, you can see the doctor. And if not, they don't charge to triage the dog.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they only charge you to see if you decide to see the doctor.
That's awesome.
Dude,
yeah,
that's epic.
So like, even if they triage and they're like, yeah, you should probably see the doctor. And you're like, nah, fuck that, I'm out of here. They don't charge you anything. Well, we get there, and by the time we get there, we get him in, and now we start, and because they were asking us on the phone, like, well, is he peeing all over the place or anything like that? I'm like, no. They're like, well, that's normally what would happen. So I'm kind of getting worried because I'm like, well, he's not showing some of the signs, right? And I know like if he gets into the weed, it's going to be annoying, but he's going to be okay. But now it's like, okay, yeah, some of these symptoms, like he's not having some of these symptoms. We get him into the examination room, the one tech goes out, and we're waiting, and now he's walking around, and he's just pissing everywhere. And I'm like, oh, well, this is what's going on. So it was about 10 or 15 minutes before they come back in. And by now he's walking around, he's still shaking a bit, but like he's coming around. So now we're calming down. We're figuring this is what's going on. So the tech comes in and she examines him. She's like, she's like, before cannabis was legal, we'd get this a few times a day. She's like, now it's like all day, every day.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, she's like, and I don't even think we discussed seeing the doctor at all. She's like, yeah, just take him home. He'll be fine. But the problem was, so the plan that day was we were going to drop the kids off at Carrie's parents' trailer to spend the day with them. We were going to then take the dog over to their house, kennel him at the house for a couple hours while we went to the engagement party. Well, I can't do that because he's pissing everywhere. So now we go back to their house, and I just set up camp in their backyard. I'm just sitting on their patio. Turned out for 7 hours that afternoon. I just sat on the patio with Maverick. Carrie gets ready. She takes the boys to Niagara Falls, drops them off the trailer, backtracks to Welland, goes to her friend's engagement party. I get a call from Carrie. She's like, so it turns out this is actually a surprise wedding. So now I'm pissed because I'm like, well, now we've missed our friend's wedding.
Right.
And like, but then I'm like, well, no, I'm pissed because you didn't tell us it was your wedding. But then by the end I realized it was actually kind of worked out better because in Carrie, we would have been leaving by 5. Carrie was able to stay an extra couple of hours and
Right.
celebrate her friend's wedding. And it wasn't very big. It was just a backyard thing.
Yeah.
And so it kind of panned out well that way, that she was able to spend more time with her friend, and she ended up kind of being the surprise maid of honor and had to do the witness papers and all that.
Okay.
And yeah, I just sat there.
Oh, wow.
And then by the end of the day, I was super pissed because Carrie called me at like 5, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll be heading out shortly. I'll let you know what's going on." Now it's like 7:30, and we were planning on coming home that night, and it's like a 3-hour drive home from that area.
Damn.
And now it's like 7:30, and I haven't heard anything from Carrie. Now I'm getting super pissed. I'm like, you bitch! Like you're taking advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
So then finally,
Starting it up,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So then I message Caleb. I'm like, "Have you heard anything from your mom?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's here now. She's going to the bathroom. We're on our way to pick you up." I'm like, "Well, that's really nice to know." So they show up, and I'm just sitting there in the backyard, pouty and pissy and stuff. And Carrie comes up, and like as soon as she drives up, I'm grabbing stuff, throwing it in the truck. I'm just pissed. I just want to get out of there. I'm like, "All right, like let's go." I'm like, "I just got to go in. I'll hit the washroom, and then we'll head out." I go in to take a piss. I'm washing my hands. My phone dings. I look at it. The message from Carrie that she had sent 2 hours before finally comes through.
Oh.
So I'm like, but then in that split second, I'm also like, no. She probably just looked at her because she's bad for thinking she sent a message and then looking at it and realized she didn't send it. I'm like, no. She's probably outside right now. Just realized she didn't send it and sending it now. So I came out. I'm like, your message just came through. She's like, oh, I sent it hours ago. I'm like, but did you? Did you?
It's funny you say that.
It was quiet ride home.
Yeah, a quiet ride home.
But,
it was like I said, I was in Hawaii and I couldn't really pay too much attention to it, but I was just like, oh, this is going to be epic, like that dog. So as you're telling that story, I hop on Chat GPT and I'm like, create me a picture of a yellow lab with a bag of Doritos. And it gives me this picture. And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. I was like, create me a picture of a yellow lab that's high with a bag of Doritos. And it came back. Yeah, we can't make that.
Can't do it. Yeah. So in those 7 hours that I was sitting on the porch, I spent most of that time on Chat GPT because I had the picture. I took a picture of him, or I took a frame out of the video I took of him that I posted where he was like in the examination room just doing this. So I took a picture and I was going to try doing like the glasses, put like a hat on him and that, make him look like, make him look like he's high. So I'm like, I'm just going to use Chat GPT, and it wouldn't do it. And it's like, no, we can't do that. So I was like, all right, like give me a picture of my dog that looks like Snoop Dogg, and it still wouldn't do that either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It wouldn't do that.
I thought it would give you that.
I will, we will turn it a little bit serious here, but then we'll get back to the funny stuff again because I wanted to work this in, especially with the season coming up and with the season coming up, and we always hear every year, right? Like there's always an accident, like somebody is not paying attention to the weather, the water, all this stuff, and I wanted to bring it up because I was in Hawaii, I almost drowned, like legit, like I almost fucking drowned. So I grew up in the North Atlantic. I grew up on the water, and I always thought I had a very good read of the water, and I was very respectful of the ocean, not a lake, the fucking ocean, right? So we get to Hawaii on Sunday evening. Monday morning, I'm like, I'm going snorkeling. There was a beach that was 200 yards away from the Verbo that we're staying in. Grab my gear, I get in the water, and I stay close, it's coral. I stay close at first just to make sure, I know what I'm doing and stuff, but I've never experienced the waves and the surf in the North Atlantic like it is in Hawaii, right? So I never really experienced that, the waves crashing and then rolling back out and pulling you with them.
I was just about to say it's the roll. Yeah, it's the roll.
Dude, I'm telling you, I grew up on the water and I had never experienced anything like that. So I'm like, oh, well, I better stay close because this current and the surf is pretty strong. So I'm out, and of course I still out and I'm snorkeling and I see some fish and I'm following this fish. and all along the coral reef. And I popped my head up and I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting a little far from shore here. I best go in. And there was some other snorkelers around, right? But they were heading out further. And so I said, no, I'm going to head back in. And as I'm heading back in, well, that surf is rolling, and as it comes out, it's pulling me out, and then I'm ending up getting pushed over on the side where all the rocks are, right? And I'm like, man, I can't get over there. That's fucking trouble. If I end up over there, I'm toast. So I'm working like a dog to get out of this. And dude, I'm gonna tell you, I lost my air so fast. Like I was fine, and then just like that, it was gone. I had nothing. And I'm trying to get in close enough that I could at least stand up, or you know what I mean. And I was just, no way. And the last little bit of air I had, I screamed for help, right? And thankfully my son, who's a good swimmer, he just jumped in the water, swam out, grabbed me by the arm and pulled me in. And I would have drowned. Like, there's no doubt in my mind I would have. And the reason why I bring this up is because take a lesson from me, because I got complacent, because I grew up on the water and I thought I knew exactly, well, if it's like this in the North Atlantic, it's like this in the middle of the Pacific. You know what I mean? And I got lazy and I was like, I'm all right. I'm good. I've done this a million times before, but it's a different location. And I got in some serious trouble. And with the season coming up right now, the last thing we want to hear is somebody getting in trouble and losing their life and this whole bit, right? So I wanted to bring that up, and you can laugh at me too for almost drowning. I don't care. But I really wanted to bring that up on this episode because the season is starting, and people, you know, Billy Campbell was on this show one time, with Dr. Duck, and you know, we talked about it. And is it really worth it for a wet duck to lose your life? So, just be careful out there, everybody. It is really the reason that I brought this up, is because the last thing we want is to hear about anybody, you know, getting into some serious trouble with the season over a wet duck. Ultimately.
But I think the two big things there, like the complacency and the variables, right? Because like when you said that, it's like, you know, you're used to the ocean here, but you're here. First thing I thought about was, you know, like you watch a lot of YouTube videos, you see guys out just waiting around everywhere and there's no issue. Whereas like if that person jumped into the water anywhere around here and tried that, they're stuck, right? Like it's, so you go from one location where you're used to being able to do something a certain way and you go somewhere else and you don't know that it's different. That's all it takes, right? It just takes one or two steps and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you bring up a great point. I'm a perfect example. I'm hunting open water in North Carolina, dude, going from like the bayou in Louisiana to here. Dude, I got my ass kicked. Like I'm in the military. I'm a physically fit dude, but like you and waiters, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. Like it's just like you guys said, it's not worth it. And you bring up a great point, dude. Do your homework. Just do 15 minutes. That's all it requires. Just 15 minutes. Check the tide chart. See what the sea state is. You know what I mean? Like where the current's at. What's the wind gonna be? Like all those things inform.
Well, for me, I should have paid attention to the locals, right? Because how many times? And Drew, you would know this in the military. Like how many times did we deploy at? Pay attention to the locals. If the locals aren't going there, well, then you probably shouldn't go there. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. We rolled into a village. All the locals go inside. We're like,
yep.
All right, here we go. This is happening. You know what I mean? Like this is what it is. Okay.
Yep. So you know, it just. I was very lucky my son was there, very lucky that he was able to save me. My daughter was there too, and she was on her way out to get me too, but Cade got to me first. But over a wet duck, and that's the thing. Like, listen, I know everyone's going to push the limit and you're going to go that little bit extra, and I'm not going to tell you not to do it because I know you're going to do it. Everyone's going to do that little extra bit, but just ensure that you have that backup plan if things start going fucking sideways, right? Make sure you have an escape route or whatever you want to call it, because that's what, we're at the beginning of the duck season and the goose season, and everybody's getting excited and everybody's happy seeing all the pictures, and everybody's jacked for the people that's in season right now and jealous because you're not able to hunt. But that's a sure way to kill the vibe, right? Is when they gets in trouble and gets hurt or whatever. So I did want to bring that up and shed some light on that. That's enough of that. I did want to talk about, boys,